What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. And join me one more time for the last time, I hope, of going over the saga that is Doctor Who, or Nurse What, depending on how cute you are. Let's start. So, going back to one of the first stories, and just for brevity, because I could use a lot of different sites, I'm going to use just the bounding articles just to show you the timeline of how things worked for Russell T Davies and Doctor Who when they effed around, and boy, did they find out harder than I think even they thought they would. So they started off strong with the acolyte approach of attacking the fans immediately. And that's, of course, Doctor Who lead Ncuti Gatwa responds to critics of his casting. Go and touch grass. Told us to turn off the TV. Please, for God's sakes. And of course, there's going to be a lot of gaslighting and straw manning when people give legitimate criticisms of lore changes or ideology. They get called racist and bigots, and the normal thing. So moving right along, of course, and of course, like, just for proof, he says, don't watch, turn off the TV, go and touch grass, please, for God's sakes. And you're going to find that a trend of that's something that almost everyone involved says. And shockingly enough, that might actually be exactly what we all end up doing. And so, see, Doctor Who showrunner confirms upcoming season to feature heavy focus on progressive messaging. If you're not writing that in 2024, what on earth are you doing? And in fact, we're going to find that's a common theme of Russell T Davies. And I also made a video pointing this out. He unfortunately is conflating traditional progressive of, just normal people trying to live their lives with some real dangerous ideology that basically ends up, not really having any more gay people and turning everyone else into lifelong medical patients. Is not a good road to follow. But the road we are following is these headlines. And so, yeah, let's not forget that he did bi-dick generation of the Doctors. That was nice, where they literally split into two, rather. And I guess Ncuti is the melanated fun one, and David Tennant can go off and be lectured about pronouns. Let's also not forget Davros, who's in a wheelchair, but Russell apparently thought that everyone associated people in wheelchairs with villains without ever actually showing any proof of a bunch of villainous people in wheelchairs. And so he made Davros just to be a generic white dude because, obviously, as you do. Right. Let's not forget David Tennant, of course, as I make the joke there, being lectured on pronouns and being referred to as a male presenting doctor you would never understand. All really helping with the ratings, by the way. And then, of course, the big one, Nurse What, as they were calling it. Of course, drag queen king, Jinx Monsoon, who, oh boy, did a great performance, really did exactly what they wanted him to do. If they don't watch him, who needs him? And of course, that, again, a common theme. A lot of people are really going to love this. And some did, but not for the reasons they think. And I think this season is going to create a lot of new Doctor Who fans. Yep. People certainly watched it for the first time, even if you're going to see that they stopped long, and then continuing their thoughts, Monsoon added, there's a lot of toxicity around the gender and the trans conversation. And the reason that there is I would call it animus and passion, and that's because you continuously target children who don't know what they want to eat for dinner or wear to school, but you're oh so quick to push some gender ideology on them. And again, like I said, lifelong medical patients. Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa pushes disingenuous narrative that critics, they probably don't like the show either, critics of the latest series are racist. It's just really sad for them because, heaven forbid, there would actually be legitimate criticisms of lifelong fans or even newer fans that are like, what the hell is this? No, you have to dismiss them. And this is the same tactic, of course, used for The Acolyte, used for any show that has a popular fandom, that then that fandom talks back about the ruination of it. Of course, you get called a racist. Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies dismisses critics of his decision to focus on queer themes. In dark little corners, people might argue, but that's not the real world. And what he means is when people point out that they don't want to see you race swap and gay up every single historical figure you could get your hands on. Hi, Isaac Newton. He's not black or Indian, by the way, or whatever they did, but they did. And of course, Ncuti Gatwa, his long, drawn out, sloppy gay kiss that no one really gives a shit about. And that's That's the real thing they're upset about. It's not that we're upset. It's not dark corners. It's just like, bro, that's not what people were watching Doctor Who for. It's what you're writing Doctor Who for, but it's not why people were watching. Doctor Who showrunner, he's unfazed by criticisms of the lore changes and, you know, the timeless children, all the things that he just doubled down on, thinks they're in a healthy position. And now we get into the fun where there was no more. I mean, the coping is still going strong, but for everyone paying attention, Doctor Who ratings continue to plummet. Latest episode posts worst overnight numbers in the franchise, and then on and on. Russell T Davies confirms series is struggling with audience, admits current numbers might not be the ratings we love, but he says that they're doing well with people under 35, the young audience, the ones that don't have a brain that they could still get with ideology, and the ones that are probably already woke AF already because they've come in through the school and colleges, high schools and things like that. So yeah, of course you were going to get them, but as we're finding out, those numbers are really low. After single episode spike, Doctor Who ratings back in the dirt. And again, we're talking about some of the lowest episode ratings since 1989. Even accounting for inflation of streaming numbers or whatever. For second time this season, Doctor Who posts worst overnight numbers. We're catching up to the present. Russell T Davies' latest Doctor Who run breaks yet another negative record. Post worst overnight season finale ratings in franchise history. And that brings us today, to now, to you and me together here. BBC refuses to acknowledge terrible Doctor Who ratings. Instead, boasts that the series is their top drama for under their 35s this year with no proof. But what we do have proof is, and just look at that ratings decline. You have the beginning overnight with the consolidated 7-day here at the end. And while we don't yet have the 8, I think you can assume it's going to follow this trend of just half and half, just going down and down and down to that last one of just 2.25 million. Abysmal. And it just goes to a lot of, well, what did Russell think was going to happen? It's like, oh, I think I know exactly what he thought was going to happen. He somehow thought that his stunning and brave signaling of virtue would shake and shook all of the countries watching and all of our internalized cis white racism that we've all benefited from, and the systematic this and that, and the internalized this and that. And somehow we would all come to the conclusion that, yes, trans up all of our children, we give them unto you, go ahead, $70,000 a pop, and then hormones for the rest of their life. It's not reversible, but sure, do that. And then when we point out the bad writing, the lore changes, the attacking of white people, the attacking of white men, the pandering to already, that's the real big thing. Forget me. Fine. Forget all of that. Just the regular, everyday Doctor Who fan, don't even watch YouTube, who stopped watching because these ratings can't be all of us. What do you think the answer to that is? Could it be that you virtue signaled too close to the sun, that you turned already progressive people backwards and said, you know what? I was fine before. I liked the Birdcage. I watched Queer as Folk, which Russell wrote. I was fine with Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. But now this, the trans this, and the targeting to kids this, and the drag queen story time hours, it's too much. It's too much. I'm done. I'm going to go watch Acolyte with forced lesbians. And so you just stop watching TV and you just stop watching Doctor Who, which is where we are now. They've just stopped watching. And as Russell T Davies says, even that second season is still in doubt. Even though it got greenlit, things can change. And based on these ratings, they might. So the next time we're talking about this, it very well might be about its cancellation. Anyway, let me know what you think of this. Be sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. And
well, bye.